I gotta take a deep breath. Speaking in front of people like this is not forte, so I am. I don't like that. Very nervous, so I just ask you to be kind, which obviously you will be. Okay, so I'm Brooke Huffman. I've been coming to Leadership Lab for a very, very long time. I came for 4 years as a high schooler, and then 16 years ago I came back as staff, and I've pretty much been here every year since, and keep coming back. So my story actually started at Leadership Lab, but the story I'm going to talk about today. But before I get started, a little bit about me. My job in my real life, I'm a speech-language pathologist at an elementary school. It's a great job. If anybody's interested, come talk to me. That's my family, cute little family, 2 daughters. One is here, first year, and then Campbell is 13, so she'll be here soon. So I'll just go back there so you don't have to keep looking. Okay, so like I said, my story that I'm going to talk about started my very first year at Lab, which was 28 years ago. Don't do that. Please don't. Just know that I'm old, but that's how long Lab has been impacting my life. So I was sitting in my seat my first year, listening to somebody up here talk. And they were talking about addiction and how this person knew another person with an addiction, and the person with the addiction had become someone that they were not proud of, and this addiction made them do things that were not true to who they were. And I had a boyfriend at the time in my youth group, and he was at Lab as well, and he'd been telling me for about 6 months, I think you have an eating disorder. Now when he told me this, I did not even know what an eating disorder was. Because remember, this is 28 years ago, it's not as common and talked about as it is now. And I kept telling him, you're crazy, I'm fine, everything's fine. But listening to this person talk about how they had no control over their addiction, it made them a person they didn't want to be, and it made them do things they didn't want to do. I realized I didn't have control of something that I thought was a way to control things, but if someone tried to make me eat more than I was comfortable with, I would be very upset and agitated. If someone told me I couldn't go out and run as much as I wanted to, I would have a little freak out. So sitting there at Lab, and I realized, okay, yeah, maybe he's right. Maybe I should do something about this. So we left Centennial, because that's where Lab was back then, the big gatherings. And we're walking back to Erickson, because that's where the first years stayed back then. And I tell him, okay, yeah, you're right. I guess I have an issue, and I guess I'm ready to do something about it. He sat me down out by a tree, and he broke up with me. Yeah, teenage boys can be great. No, I'm just joking. You're all wonderful boys. So immediately I was like, okay, never mind. I don't want to do this alone. Never mind. Okay. So yeah, he broke up with me. I actually rewrote this last night, so it's not as fresh as it should be. Thanks, Steph. So I had become someone that I was not proud of. I was lying all the time to people to cover up what I needed to do. Did you eat today? Did you eat lunch? Oh yeah, I had a sandwich, I'm good. Did you work out? No, I didn't work out today. I'm taking a rest day, I'm fine. became a vicious cycle. I would lie to try to deal with this awful voice in my head that was telling me I was worthless, I was horrible, I was stupid, made me hate myself. And so I would lie to kind of, I would lie because I just felt like I had to. And it would quiet the voice a little bit. So that's not a good cycle to be in. And I stayed in that cycle for a very long time, many, many years, because I was lying to people, saying I was fine. And I didn't fight the voice because it was just easier to listen to the voice and pretend everything was fine and believe the voice that I was a bad person. So, like I said, this kept going for many, many years. And as you can imagine, doing this for many, many years eventually led to me really needing help. When I was back on staff at lab, I finally confided in some friends here at lab that I wasn't okay and I couldn't keep this up. I felt so alone for so long, and that loneliness kept that cycle going. I felt unworthy to ask for help. And I got to a point, though, that I knew that if I didn't ask for help, I was going to die. So I finally went to inpatient treatment, got the help I so desperately needed. And I had been caring for years. I was loved. I was forgiven. I was worthy. I believed it. I remember talking with Pastor Roy and telling him, I get that everybody, grace is there. We don't deserve it, but we all get it. And then I thought to myself, but not me. I believe everybody else deserves grace, but I'm just not good enough. And I can't tell you how many times I heard these words over the years. Tens, hundreds, thousands of times. I heard, you don't deserve it, but you get it. And it didn't stick. I just could not believe that. About 5 years ago, we got a puppy. That's Wrigley. That's him as a puppy, and that's him as a grown-up. And my husband was so excited to get this puppy. He loves Newfoundlands, and this was going to be his dog. It was just the two of them. So, Wrigley was a jerk when he was a puppy. I know he looks cute. Oh, but he was a jerk. And he and I kind of butted heads for a while. But he turned one and he calmed down. And all of a sudden, he was my dog. He was the kindest, gentlest, and most loving creature I've ever known. And he picked me to be his person. Like the family would come home from somewhere, and if everyone else walked in single filely, he would wag his tail. But if I walked in, he would stand up and come over to me. So how was I worthy of this dog's unconditional love? How was I, this bad person? But the great thing about dogs is they do love unconditionally. So I might be in a bad mood and yell at him because he's in my way, but he still would love me like I had just called him the goodest dog. He didn't care what I did, and he loved me because I was me. And for some reason, I was able to accept his love. Now, obviously, I've had people, so many people over my life, giving me love and being there for me, but I couldn't accept it because I felt unworthy and bad, a sinner of the worst kind. But accepting his love brought so much joy to my life, and I started to see that accepting this, it felt good. I liked it. And I wasn't used to feeling this. And I think I started to enjoy it and slowly start accepting others' love. And as I accepted my husband's love, my daughter's love, my friend's love, I was able to accept that I'm also given grace. I'm forgiven for all of my sins and mistakes. I still don't feel like I deserve it, but now I can accept it. Well, let me tell you, being on this side of recovery is amazing. So, now is my dog responsible for my eating disorder recovery? No, that was, God put him there for me. God knew that's what I needed to finally be able to accept love. You know, just shove it there with a dog, and then it'll carry over. I just have a cute picture here too. That's him. He's literally like hugging me. And do you want to hear a really sad thing? That was the night we had to put him to sleep. He had just turned 4 and he had cancer. The good ones don't last long, but as I'm crying, he's hugging me. So that was really. And I carry him with me every day. His paw print is on my necklace. So every day I think of that, and it just helps me. Sorry, she's sobbing because that's my daughter. It's her dog. I know she's drawing looks. Okay, so I know I keep putting love and grace